I'm ready for my next guest and everything up. So thrilled to have you with us. Tell us what you do in your daily life to help dentists cry less inside.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I'm Conor Mahlmann. I'm a senior consultant with Student Loan Planner. We help dentists make a treatment plan to get rid of their student loans, right? Cheaper, in a less stressful way than they probably thought possible.
And Conor, you could just say that I don't need any more help because I'm looking at my phone for a reason. Literally 14 minutes ago, someone texted me, hey, Doc, my brother's looking to talk about Student Loan Planner and get organized his loan. Do you still have a sponsor code for them? And I sent it to them. But this amazing dentist, who's been a fan of mine for years, Conor, said, of all the sponsors that you have to help us, Student Loaner helped me the most because my wife and I were staring down over $600,000 of debt. So just if people are hearing about you for the first time, you've been sponsors for years, how do you help that couple that is saying, man, we're associates, we got $700,000 in debt, we're each making 180 grand a year, we feel like we have money, we don't know if we have money, it's confusing to deal with money. How do you guys come in and help couples like that?
Yeah. So folks schedule one-time consults with us. They give us their loan information that comes from the Department of Ed, and we walk through in the consult with them what they have, but they know the total balance of what they have, but what do they really have, right? Why are things the way they are, and how can they tweak them to save money, right? A lot of dentists don't even know that you can actually get your loans forgiven. If your loan balance is, let's say that same couple, right, they're making 180 each as associates. If their loan balance is over one and a half times their income, right? Take that 360 total and multiply it by 1.5. If they have more in loans, they can get those loans forgiven. But Department of Ed puts them straight on the standard plan and says, hey, pay $6,000 a month.
Yeah, no one tells you the rules of this crazy game. I'm 46 years old. Back in the day, they said that fat made you fat. And then they said you could eat good fats, right? It blew my mind. Now I just eat avocados all the time. I'm on 100% avocado diet. I'm just joking. That may not be healthy either. But what I've learned with Student Loan Planner, my podcast, and Travis and Dan and your people is like paying these loans off. It's not intuitive. Explain why, these type A dentists who say, I'll get the job done. And, I'll live in my parents' basement. I won't even live in my parents' basement. I'll live in the shed and I'll rent out the basement on Airbnb. Why should they not just be dumping every last dollar to pay off their loans? What are some of the risks associated with that? Whether it's practice purchase, whether it's their sanity, tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, that's where Department of Ed thinks you should go by default, right? They give you the plan of pay your loans off in 10 years and pay, for an average dentist who comes out with 300,000 roughly, that's about $3,300 a month. Yeah. That same dentist, if they're, like you were saying, an associate making 180 a year, they could pay $1,200, $1,300 on an income-driven plan and get the loans forgiven, right? After a certain amount of time, that $1,200 or $1,300 helps them buy a house, right? When they're coming out of school with an existing mortgage payment, essentially, buy a house, buy a practice, right? Other kinds of financing they can qualify for.
And I think, I'm here giving out free marketing tips, Conor. You can pay me if you want, but your tagline should just be to these dentists, let's treatment plan your loans together so you don't cry inside over this career you spent your entire life getting, right? Because
exactly.
Right now, I say this all the time in my lectures, debt's just as much an emotional challenge as it is a financial challenge. And these dentists like Alan, who was just on here, who went to school, more than a decade ago, multiple decades ago, they just don't have the context for what a new dentist wakes up and thinks my loan balance is $727,000. But student loan, I've called you guys the Batman of this whole world because you come in and ride to the rescue, fly to the rescue and say, hey, it's not as bad as you think. Hey, there are these ways to do it. So if people text loans to 215-543-6454, what are they do a consult with you guys, just deepen our understanding of this consult.
Yeah. So they get an action plan on how to tackle their loans, which frequently saves, we've served about 16,000 people and saved them almost $1 billion.
That's awesome.
It works out to about $65,000 on average per person. We haven't done the numbers, but I'd argue that's probably higher for dentists with the higher balance generally. But you get a plan on how are these loans going to impact everything, right? From a practice purchase, from a house purchase, how do we get rid of them as economically as we can? Then you get a follow-up email with that action plan, right? Specifically how to execute on it. We want to take all the stress out of it, right? Or as much as we possibly can.
I love that. The loan treatment plan to decrease stress. Well, thanks so much
Yeah.
for being an amazing sponsor, supporter. I know we're going to see you guys at our upcoming event soon. And thanks so much for sharing with us, Conor.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
So dental school debt, it is quite, as the kids say, nacho nuts. So use Student Loan Planner to help you decrease stress, to help you make it manageable.